David sought a nation's blessing, knowing it begins with individual choices that shape fruitful lives. Surrounded by human counsel alone, David knew a kingdom without divine wisdom would be unstable. David saw true fruitfulness as rooted life, drawing sustenance from God's law like a tree by water. Psalm 1 opens the Psalter, a choice between rooted growth in God or scattered, rootless existence.
Blessed is the one who avoids the path of the wicked, sinners and mockers,
but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, whose leaf does not wither.
Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away.
Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous.
for the Lord watches over the way of the righteous. But the way of the wicked leads to destruction.
Jerusalem, the city of peace, yet in King David's throne room, intrigue whispered without rest. His mind slipped past the court's whispers to a purer time, the quiet solitude of a shepherd under the same stars. Amid his advisors, he saw two paths, clever schemes of the shrewd and the steadfast wisdom of the faithful. Burdened by power and fear of missteps, he sought an anchor, not in treaties, but in truth. In the quiet, he found the answer, a life shaped not by cynicism, but by intentional, steadfast devotion. Between palace and pasture, the first words, "Blessed is the man who shuns the counsel of the wicked."
Why do the nations rage, and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and his anointed.
He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord holds them in derision.
Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying,
As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill.
I declare the decree. You are my son, today I have made you. Ask of me, and the nations will be yours. You shall break them with a rod of iron and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel.
Now, O kings, be wise. Take warning, rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling.
King David faced his deepest threat, the rebellion of his own son, Absalom. David fled Jerusalem, a mighty king reduced to a desperate refugee in his own land.
From the city walls, former subjects shouted, God will not deliver him, haunting David.
Surrounded by rebels and despair, David's spirit broke, and his prayer began. David clung to this truth. You, Lord, are my shield. A declaration, not a feeling. From that declaration came peace and courage. The psalm became David's anchor amid betrayal.
Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him.
But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high.
I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain.
I lie down and sleep. I wake again, because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear, though tens of thousands assail me on every side.
Arise, Lord! Deliver me, my God! Strike all my enemies on the jaw! Break the teeth of the wicked!
Deliverance belongs to the Lord. May your blessing be on your people.
Even in peace, the court buzzed with intrigue, forcing choices between security and integrity. David saw the empty chase. Who will show us any good? The cry of restless hearts.
David answered not with command, but withdrawal, where silence let the heart speak.
Alone, David offered a quiet sacrifice, choosing trust over transaction.
Tension dissolved. The peace he preached, be silent, became his own reality.
Psalm 4 was born, moving from anxious crowds to surrendered joy, secure in being heard.
Answer me when I call to you, my righteous God. Give me relief from my distress. Have mercy on me and hear my prayer.
How long will you people turn my glory into shame? How long will you love delusions and seek false gods?
Know that the Lord has set apart his faithful servant for himself. The Lord hears when I call to him. Tremble and do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent.
Offer the sacrifices of the righteous and trust in the Lord.
Many, Lord, are asking, who will bring us prosperity? And let the light of your face shine on us.
You have filled my heart with greater joy than when their grain and new wine abound.
In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. David's hardest duty wasn't war, but judgment, sowing envy and conspiracy in his court. David sensed the palace's hidden web of lies and flattery, grandeur masking moral decay. Before the day began, David presented his case to the divine judge, not as king, but as a petitioner.
David prayed as a formal petition, presenting deceit as evidence and seeking God's perfect justice.
David's psalm shows his tension, abhorrence of the wicked, yet a humble plea for God's guidance.
The prayer ends in sanctuary, justice entrusted to God. David becomes a shepherd of those seeking refuge. Hear my words, Lord, my cry for help to my King and my God.
Each morning, David prays, lays his requests before God, and waits with hope.
You are not a God who is pleased with wickedness. With you, evil people cannot dwell. The arrogant cannot stand before you. Lies and evil fall under your judgment. By your great love, I enter your house and bow in reverent trust. Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me.
Their hearts deceive, their mouths speak lies, sweet words masking open graves.
Let those who seek refuge in you rejoice and sing, covered by your protection.
This prayer is a soul confronting its own failure, a king facing the weight of his mistakes.
The warrior king falls, not by sword, but under the fever of spiritual guilt.
Alone in weakness, David faces the silence of his palace, the solitude of the penitent.
Exhaustion yields to hope. The fever breaks as David declares, "The Lord has heard."
Psalm 6 ends in mercy, with shame shifted from the penitent to the true adversaries.
Lord, have mercy. Do not rebuke me in anger, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord. My soul and bones ache. How long, O Lord, how long?
Turn, Lord, and save me by your unfailing love. The dead cannot praise your name.
Exhausted by grief, I weep through the night, my tears drenching my bed.
My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard the sound of my weeping.
The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer.
My enemies will recoil in sudden shame, overwhelmed and defeated.
David fled not just from Cush's spear, but from slander that painted him a traitor.
David knew that in public opinion, lies could seem true. He sought judgment from a higher court. David first examined himself, aware that hidden guilt could invalidate his plea.
With a clear conscience, David boldly summons the Lord, the impartial judge of his case. David appeals to divine justice. Those who dig a pit will fall into it. The psalm ends in David's rest. God's shield assures, freeing his mind from the case. Lord, I take refuge in you. Save me from those who would tear me apart like a lion. If I am guilty, wronging allies or rebel foes, Lord, hold me accountable. If guilty, let my enemy overtake me and crush me to the dust. Arise, Lord, and enact justice against the rage of my enemies.
Let the assembled peoples gather around you, while you sit enthroned over them on high.
Let the Lord judge and vindicate me, according to my righteousness and integrity. The wicked plot evil, birth lies, and fall into the pits they dig. You see? God, my shield, saves the upright. I give thanks for his righteousness.